the last time we met, you mentioned that you already started your restructuring your HR department to become more agile. Would you like to talk about that?
Sure. So in 2020, with COVID, we launched a new model on the 1st of October. Some might say that was a crazy idea. Did we not have enough? That was exactly the idea. So as we got into the lockdown, we were maybe about 2 or 3 months in. Right away, Agile is also all about doing retrospectives. What did we learn from this? What can we take from this and be stronger moving forward? And I wanted to use the opportunity with the team to flow with that energy. We were riding a wave of having just gone through that. And when my team asked me, well, what's your idea? How much time are you going to have for this implementation? And I said 3 months. And their eyes, I still remember how they looked at me with very big eyes. And the greatest day almost of the year was for me about 4 weeks before we launched. I wish we could just do it now. So that gives you some indication about some of the energy and the passion we had into it. And on the 1st of October, we launched based on a Spotify model. And we're still in the process of adjusting and ironing out various things, but that's what Agile is all about. And I feel that we are prepared and ready for 2021. It's certainly going to bring some amazing challenges for us, but bring them on. That's what this new world is about.
I remember that you also mentioned that you have created an additional role. I think you named it the change manager or transformation manager. Am I right?
So we have an Agile coach is
Perhaps
one role.
It was that, the Agile coach.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think you also said that the new normal is that it's going to be change all the time.
Mm-hmm. 2 things in there that reminds me of. So one is, specifically, how can we continue to be fit as a team? It is making sure that we have the right knowledge and capabilities. So we purposely did not do a whole bunch of trainings. I believe more you need trainings in that moment when you're struggling. That's when you Google something, right? You don't do a whole training on Excel formulas. In that moment when you need it, you Google how to do it and you get it done. So the trainings come later on, the majority of them. And this individual is all about, we also have Scrum Masters who work in each of our squads, they're called, and they help to make sure the how, not the what are we doing, but how are we doing it and how can we continuously improve our efficiency. If you want to bring business value as an HR function, you need to make sure you're efficient and you're directly tied to what the business needs.
Okay, so you launched this restructured in October, and it's been now only January, so it's not been a long time. But do you already feel advantages in your team?
Yes, and we still have a long way to go. So that's part of learnings from myself. I've come a long way in the concept of Agile, but you have to retrain your muscles. So I'm a recovering perfectionist, and that's not a good thing in Agile. You want to do prototyping, quick things, trial and error. Not being perfect is a good thing. That shows where you have potential. But some of the things that I notice already now working very well is I mentioned before the topic of simplifying and being more efficient. When I first came in, one of the greatest challenges, I have got roughly 60 people in my team. How do you orchestrate that? Also as a leader in your business, how do you effectively ensure that all of those people are working on the right things and that there are efficiencies in the system? So we tried some things about, keeping track of everything, having oversight. We made some first successes, but it wasn't enough. And when the team started to say, this is not enough, that's a great sign. That means it's time to take it to the next level. So now it sounds like I did it very calculated. That's not the case. We developed it together with some really great people also together in my team, and we involved the whole team in the design. But specifically right now is about priority planning. The only way to tackle new challenges is either you hire more people. Now, how many HR functions can easily just add another 10 or 20% to their staff? almost nobody, unless they're maybe in a high growth area, a startup environment, or really some hot new tech environment. The majority of us do not have that liberty. So the only way to do that is to stop doing some of the things that you're doing. Now, so often in HR, you are service orientated. What the business wants, you bring. And what is unique to all of this is you need to start to dare to not do things. And how do you make those choices? Now, we have a priority planning set up, various meetings where the business, so my internal clients, are at the table with us. And together, we make the difficult decisions about what gets done now and what goes on the so-called backlog. It doesn't mean it's gone forever. It's just not a priority right now. That's one example for you.
So talking about priorities and HR, like being servant to the business needs, that's basically an HR strategy that you are following, supporting the business, what they really need, and perhaps leaving out stuff. And I realized that there are so many HR people struggling with becoming more strategic. What would you recommend to all those HR people who would love to be, like, have more impact?
You need to have a seat at the table. You need to have access to the information, those conversations that are happening at that most important table about the challenges of your business. You need to have access to information about what is going to be hitting us in the next 3 to 5 years. Most often HR is focused very much on the next performance cycle, hiring. It's too short term. You need to start to get in there to understand what transformations are happening in the business and what workforce will they need for the future, including capabilities, number of individuals, and so on. And if you don't have that information, your dream is unfortunately not going to happen.
A bitter pill for many.
Yeah.
There are so many HR people that hear that they just get lost in the midst of operational and administrative tasks. And of course, they know they should work more strategically, but they just don't find the time. How should they, what can they do?
The only way to make time is to reprioritize what you're working on. And if you involve your business, your internal client in those prioritization, I almost guarantee you they will be happy to be a part of that conversation. You'll be surprised at how many things maybe don't have to happen. That's the only way to create time without having a time machine that I know of.
Is there a final advice you would like to give to HR people?
Be a rebel. Speak up, question the way things are done. That's how you add value and you'll create more impact and ultimately more business value. Be a rebel.